Now at 11, flooding and rescues across the Northwest.
It looks more like a tsunami has already hit. Slow-mo.
I haven't seen it this high in a long time.
Look at the damage as some residents scrambled to evacuate. Plus, flooding in Fairview reveals a deeper issue in the area. The impact some residents say a homeless camp had on today's damage.
Where you have rock slides in the past, you're likely to have them in the future.
And dangers from the rain as we head into the weekend. We talked to a geologist on the storm's impacts on our slopes and hillsides. Your news starts now. Thank you for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Laurel Porter. We have team coverage of the weather impact tonight. The good news, the rain is letting up. More on that in just a minute. But first, KGW's Alma McCarty breaks down the lingering trouble spots tonight, plus what to look out for this weekend. She joins us live from Southwest Portland. Alma?
Well, the rain may have slowed down or at this point even stopped, but it certainly made a mess in several areas earlier today. And I also spoke with that expert, that geologist, who said on top of looking out for the rain this time of year, you also want to be mindful about rock slides and landslides.
On Friday, near constant rain turned into even more of a headache for many. Some of those complications remain. The coast, especially near Tillamook and Lincoln City, is seeing some of the worst flooding right now. This is video from earlier today of Highway 101 submerged. Nearby, a photo from the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office shows an old fire truck completely underwater. Further inland in Gaston, drivers plowed through flooded roadways. Fields close by turned into swamps. In Beaverton, signs warned drivers not to pass through. South Johnson Creek overflowing. Oregon State Parks tweeted that Ecola State Park will likely be closed into next week, the heavy rain causing a sinkhole beneath the road. While the Forest Service shared this picture, they're reporting Multnomah Creek is flooded, submerging the walkway from the I-84 parking lot to Multnomah Falls, closing this access. A couple hours to the south, ODOT is alerting drivers to a road closure due to a rock slide and cleanup on 138 West.
Yeah, this is an area where we often have rock slides and we monitor it, and we've been actually scaling the area, removing loose rocks over the summer and other times of the year.
Officials say the road will be closed until Tuesday, with crews carefully working round the clock to remove the rocks.
We say if it's moved once, it has a high potential for moving again.
Closer to home, Scott Burns, a geology professor with PSU, says experts are keeping a close eye on all types of landslides this time of year.
Everything is saturated. This is the time of the year all the way through until April, May. Are the times when we get most of the landslides. Primarily in the Coast Range and in the Cascades and in the Gorge, but then also any steep slopes that we have. And in Portland, we have a lot of steep slopes.
He explains it's a combination of factors.
If you have steep slopes, number one, if you have weak rocks or weak soils, you have two strikes against you. All you have to do is either add water, which is going to cause it, or earthquakes.
Burns said that they are especially concerned for homeowners who live in landslide-prone areas. That's because landslides aren't covered by homeowners insurance. So his advice to those people, go outside while it is raining to make sure that your water collection features on your home are in fact working.
Something to check out this weekend. Thank you, Alma. Where the flooding is worse in Tillamook County, the Coast Guard had to come in and rescue people from an RV park. The Coast Guard tweeted out this video of the evacuations. You can see abandoned cars and vehicles as rushing water flooded parts of Nescoin. Rescuers came in by helicopter and by boat. 20 people were saved, while 30 people turned down assistance and stayed behind. So one of those who stayed behind facing now and the rest of us as we head into the weekend. Let's bring in meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Hi, Joe.
Hey there to you, Laura. We are seeing some things slowly improving, and that means some of our watches and warnings that we saw basically here the last 48 hours have expired. There's a couple spots, though, they're still dealing with some watches and warnings because of the high rise in the river of course, along the parts of the Oregon coast and near Tillamook. Flood warning still in place the rest of tonight and into early tomorrow morning. I'd say by noon tomorrow, all the watches and warnings will have been expired. Now, talking about all that rain, we've seen close to 3 inches of it here the last 2 days. Pretty impressive rainfall amounts in a few locations. I'll show you that in a second. But right now, we're starting to see the tail end of this atmospheric river move off to the east, bringing in some light scattered showers throughout the Oregon Cascades. And some of the higher elevations definitely saw a decent amount of rain. Now there's going to be another atmospheric river that arrives later on this weekend, but it's not going to be impacting us as much. It's going to be impacting parts of Puget Sound near Seattle. Rainfall amounts here just today, well over an inch throughout much of the metro area. Over in Scappoose, you saw light amounts, just over 1/2 of an inch of rain. Meanwhile, along the Oregon coast, basically from Astoria all the way down to Newport, from the northern part of the coast, the central Oregon coast saw well over an inch of rain. And yeah, this was the wettest 48 hours so far this year. Look at that, closing in on 3 inches of rain. Last spring, Laura, we saw just over about 2.5 inches of rain in a 3-month period. So pretty impressive. Yeah, it's definitely setting up to be a pretty potent La Nina year so far. I'll talk more about your detailed forecast in just a few minutes.
It was a super soaker today. Thank you, Joe. And some neighbors around Fairview Lake woke up to flooding this morning. We found out there is a system in place that should have prevented it, but crews couldn't access that system because of a homeless camp. Catherine Cook explains.
The carpet in Jeff Brown's basement is ripped up, the furniture gone. And believe it or not, this is an improvement over Friday morning. He woke up to 4 inches of water on the floor.
I'm just trying to wrap our arms around the whole scenario.
Brown lives on Fairview Lake, the headwaters for the Columbia River Slough that feeds into Multnomah County's drainage district.
Great system until it rains hard like it did today.
But even on rainy days, Fairview Lake should not have flooded like this.
We have a massive multi-million-dollar pump to use on days like this. But sadly, the district, Multnomah County Drainage District, they're not able to get to the pump because of the homeless encampments.
Fairview city officials tell KGW for the last month, crews have been trying to access the pump house near Northeast 180th and Marine Drive to draw down the water in Fairview Lake. But they've encountered hostility from the homeless camps surrounding and even blocking access to the pumps. The city of Portland owns the land. Brown says since last summer, he and other neighbors have been asking Portland city officials to clear the area to no avail. Then Friday afternoon, facing a flooding emergency, Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies escorted technicians to the pump house, and tow trucks started removing abandoned cars and debris.
As soon as they got down there with their trucks and equipment and servicemen to look at the pump, there were 6 gunshots coming from the homeless encampment that all of us heard.
It was the second time gunshots were fired around pump technicians, according to Fairview Public Works. We wanted to give you a better look at the road leading to the pump and the situation crews are facing, but frankly, it didn't feel safe. Even at this late hour, we saw people standing off Marine Drive working on pieced out cars. KGW reached out to Portland city officials for a response to what's happening here and are waiting to hear back.
Lack of leadership.
In the meantime, Jeff Brown continues to pump water from his basement, a trickle-down effect he never expected. In Fairview, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Boy, that is frustrating. Okay, check this out. Amazing video shows a trailer going under a flooded bridge. KGW viewer Ben caught this scene. This is in Tillamook County as rushing waters pulled it down Trask River. We want to see your photos and video of how the weather's looking in your neighborhood. You can text them to this number, 503-226-5088, or submit them on your KGW app. There has been a major change among the highest levels of Blazers management. Why the team's president and CEO said he's resigning. That story at 11:11.